Tonight is October 6th, 2021, and welcome to another episode of Manila Standard on the Road. I'm your host, Milo Rivera, and joining me once again is my co-host, Miss Dana Uson. Dana, good evening.
Good evening, Milo. How are you doing tonight?
All good, Dana. How are you, naman? You weren't with us last week. Good to know you're back. How's it been, naman?
I know, missed the fun episode. No, but no, Milo, it's been great. And just like that, Q4 na, October na, Milo. I'm waiting for the Christmas songs to start playing, you know?
I think some of them have already started playing, to be honest. And in fact, dito sa bahay namin in our house, my grandma was pretty excited with all the setup. So
Are you
it
putting up the
feels like
decor already?
na-skip
Yeah,
yung Halloween, na-skip yung Unda. So Pasko na.
Christmas na.
Gusto kagad happy yung mood eh.
I
As
forget the somber mood, right? No, but
yeah,
like, I mean, that's always so fun about the Philippines. Na, like, if you drive along EDSA now, you can kind of see it now. Like, Mega Mall starting to put up the Christmas decor, and I'm sure the others will follow soon.
exactly.
It's just a nice way to remind, I guess, all of us that there's still lots of things to be happy about, despite the whole situation.
Exactly. Well, the funny part nga is, a lot of people are very excited for the holidays, for pretty much the rest of the year. Yun nga lang, we start to notice people driving out. Traffic has been, pretty worse a little bit. There's an added congestion nowadays. I think a lot of people are already starting to shop or to prepare for the holidays
Yeah,
at that. So still, I know a lot of people are very excited, and we should be naman talaga, but still keep in mind safety all the time wherever you may go, di ba?
definitely, definitely. And when there are more cars on the road, no, hopefully that doesn't also mean more accidents. Also remembering that it's not even just cars that we're sharing the road with now, Milo, no? And I think our guest today is going to talk a little bit about that. So aside from the cars that we have on the road, you have people on personal mobility gear, so bikes, scooters, even pedestrians. So those are the things that you'd want to watch out for whenever you do head out during this Christmas rush.
Definitely, definitely. And we've noticed nga, especially throughout this year, more bike lanes have been established on the sides of public roads, national roads at that. And kind of goes to show na it gives a lot of people more opportunity to take their bikes out, have a
Yeah,
more healthy lifestyle in terms of getting yourself from point A to point B.
for sure. Kung hindi lang mausok, di ba? But I mean, I guess that'll come later when there are more people on bikes than there are on cars. No, I think for me, that's always been
Definitely,
the dream.
exactly. And I think our guest for tonight is no exception to pretty much telling us how to be safe when it comes to riding two wheels, or yung walang motor na two wheels.
Yeah,
We're talking about we're talking about bicycles, ladies and gentlemen. And
sabihin ko
although
sana
our
scooter. Pwede naman two wheels.
Pwede naman, scooter, di ba? Yun nga. And our guest tonight is very, very special to us. She's actually guested on our show back then. And being the part of our anniversary special here in Manila Standard on the Road, we shall have her once again to share with us what's been happening to her competitions, her plans as 2021 draws to close and 2022 is nearly approaching. Plus, siguro bibigyan din tayo din ng mga tips kung paano maging safe while riding your bicycles wherever you may go.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm super excited, Milo. Let's go through the news and then we can bring in our guest. Not keep our viewers
Definitely.
waiting.
Exactly. First on the news, para sa mga nagmamaneho ng medyo may ingay ng mga kotse dyan. Lalong-lalo na if you're gonna pass through or have destinations within the city of Manila. I'm sure it's pretty much kumakalat na, but for those who don't know yet, Manila City has just passed a new ordinance on noisy exhausts. Now, an ordinance originally proposed by Councilor Joel Villanueva, now called the Motor Vehicles Modified Muffler Noise Regulation Ordinance, was recently put into motion by Manila Mayor Isko Moreno after signing it into law just last Monday. now called Ordinance Number 8772, it seeks to regulate the use of modified mufflers or exhaust pipes and similar devices on all types of vehicles. Now, under the new ordinance, all motor vehicles, public or private, are not allowed to have modified and or loud exhausts that emit and produce noise levels beyond the national standard of 99 decibels. Now, exempted, however, are vehicles for car shows, racing or motorsport competitions, as well as motorcycle engines over 400cc. So, yun nga, Dana, for those siguro who will enter Manila, pag hinuli, sasabihin, there, race car to. Or yan, gagawa ng
Tatatakan na lang ng sticker, di ba, ng team?
lalagyan na lang ng mga decal dito, mga race cars, and all that. Pero, I guess, siguro personally, it would be more thorough if malalagyan ng distinguish rather, which is which, because a lot of cars can just declare this and declare that. Some cars rather like the Ferraris and the Porsches and the supercars of today can just pass by Manila,
And they're quite loud.
and they're quite loud naturally, diba? Stock wise, they're already loud as they are, and paano yun, mapapag-initan ba? So it's I hope it doesn't become subjective, especially that
sure.
there is a statement that says na hindi dapat tataas ng 99 decibels. So I hope the guys are fully complete with instruments that measure noise levels.
I was just about to say, Milo, parang if you base it on like what you hear, medyo magkakainitan ng marami whenever people pass by Manila. So point of contention, I think, but let's see how this pans out over the next couple of weeks. All right, thanks for that, Milo. I unfortunately am the bearer of bad news again for the 6th week in a row. To our viewers, we have yet another oil price hike, and I know I say it with a smile, but trust me, I feel you. This is not something that any of us are happy about, but such is life. Oil prices have increased by as much as 2 pesos and 10 centavos per liter, and this is actually triggering the 6th consecutive week of oil price hikes to reflect the movement of prices in the world market. Unioil Petroleum Philippines said consumers can expect fuel prices to go up from October 5 to October 11. And according to the latest monitoring of the Department of Energy, crude prices have been going up due to concerns over the prolonged tightness in supply as the U.S. Gulf Coast oil output remains constrained. Now, Milo, this one to me is interesting because I remember the first time that I did deliver this little bit of news 6 weeks ago. Everyone was blaming Hurricane Ida in the U.S. and that's what put down supply. And it's incredible. No, 6 weeks on, we're still feeling the effects of that.
Yun nga, parang it's been quite a while since we've last had a rollback news bit. It's been
ever since I came on. There's been no rollbacks.
Even last week when you were in, my co-host Randy actually reported another oil price hike. So wala, it's a trend right now. Lalo na papasok pa Pasko.
I know. And now the people are going out, right? So more and more people are stocking up. And then it's difficult to see a reversal.
Yeah. For the nth time, we could only hope for a price rollback anytime soon. But I guess from one bad news to a little bit of good news naman, a little message from our friends from Grab and Move It as they are about to pursue for a resume to motor taxis. Now, Grab Philippines, along with its partner Move It, has vowed to resume its motorcycle taxi services, or yung mga angkas, after the Transportation Department suspended their deal for violating several provisions. In a statement from Grab Philippines Communication Manager RV Lopez, Grab, together with Move It, are currently in talks with regulators and looking forward to resuming their partnership. Grab also highlights its commitment in providing motorcycle taxi services for commuters. Ayan. Well, obviously, angkas is still ongoing as of now. Although with the pandemic, Nadina, a lot of people have been skeptic pa rin pagdating sa maangkas because you're very very close to the rider
Very much
taking
so.
you to your destination. And
Breathing the same air, you know,
yeah,
even if it's outdoors.
di ba? Although back then kasi they would lend you helmets if ever you didn't have one, but now it's strictly
You have
required
to bring
for
your
you to
own.
have your own helmet. You
Oh, wow. Okay.
mahirap, which I think is a
Yeah.
good step, good measure, but still somehow you're pretty much right behind the guy
The
taking you.
person.
So
Yeah.
we'll see the developments on this one. Pero saktong-sakto nga, we ended the news on two wheels as we are going to have a pretty much two-wheel theme episode but hindi pero walang motor,
Motorized,
walang bakit.
non-motorized,
Paa ang
non-motorized
motor
two wheel.
natin. Yeah. So we'll be talking to the Queen of Trails, ladies and gentlemen, after this short break. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are still watching Manila Standard on the Road with me, Dana Usan, and my co-host, Milo Rivera. Hi, Milo. Welcome back.
Hi, Dina. Welcome back to all our viewers and listeners. And as mentioned a while ago, this is our second episode of a four-episode or month-long anniversary special. Actually, Dana, Manila Standard on the Road is celebrating its first year come October 20th. Na. So, ayun nga, these episodes, especially this one, is pretty much buttering up to our October 20 actual anniversary special. And I think it's very timely that you're going to be part of it as well.
I know, and mukhang medyo throwback pala yung mga guests natin, no? For this 4-week anniversary special.
Oh, lalong-lalo na tong episode natin ngayon as we have a very, very special guest for all of you guys tonight. For those who actually have been watching almost all of our episodes, if not all of our episodes, yung guest natin ngayong gabi is very social, joke, very sikat, very popular nga, and again, she represents the Philippines with pride in what she does. And yun nga, she's been dubbed the Philippines Queen of Trails. So hindi ko na patatagalin pa. Our guest for tonight is Miss Ariana Dormitorio. Welcome back, Ariana.
Hello everyone, good evening. Loko-loko ka talaga, Milo. And once again, thank you very much for having me on your show. It's such an honor. How are you guys?
Good.
How are
Hi, Yana.
you?
Thanks so much for taking the time to join us tonight, ha?
A very
Thank
Medyo
fashionable
you.
masarap yung entrance mo.
Loko-loko
Masarap yung tawa lang.
Hay nako! May PM ka sa akin mamaya. De joke lang.
Patay tayo dyan.
Joke lang, joke. Joke lang.
Anyways, Ariana, thank you so much for joining us once again. Our first episode with you, or our episode with you back then, was a huge success. We got to learn a lot from you. We got to hear a lot of news from you yourself. And now nga, you're back, especially very timely. It's our anniversary special, our second episode of the month-long special. And I think, saktong-sakto, we'd want to hear from you. So, Ariana, how's it been naman so far? It's been a few months since you last joined us. What's new? What's cooking? What's so posh about Ariana Dormitorio right now?
Bakit may pa-push-push? Oh my God, guys, baka yung makikinig kay Milo, OMG. Anyway, anyway, yun nga, a lot has changed actually. Ang gabi, no? A lot can change talaga in a few days or in a couple of months. And right now, actually, I have a lot. I mean, marami na akong ibang, like, I have a few, ano ba? Yun? Pwede ba, pwede ba ulit? Di ba na, ano na naman to? Nakakat naman to.
Go lang, girl. You'll be fine. Go
Ikaw,
lang.
ikaw kasi Milo eh. Ayan, sige, anyway.
From the start. Okay,
Take
kunwari
two.
na tanong
Take
ko na.
two.
Kunwari na tanong ko na.
Sige, take two. Okay. Thank you very much, Milo, for your question. A lot has changed actually in a few months' time. Ngayon, I changed my coach na actually. Wala na ako sa old coaching school ko. And now, madami na actually tumutulong sa akin in my career. I have a nutritionist na, a strength and conditioning coach, a skills coach, and a overall coach na din. Kaya for next year, since I'm aiming to qualify again for the 2024 Paris Olympics, hopefully by next year makapaglabas na talaga ako to join, what do you call this, UCI races para I can gather points and also gather more experience pa. So that's what's been happening lately. And medyo malaki yun for me kasi for the past few years, my father has been my coach, but right now, iba na ako, and I'll always be grateful for all of the things that he has helped in my career.
Yeah.
And yun nga, and you just mentioned just now you're preparing for the 2024 Paris Olympics, which is a little above 2 years from now pa.
Yeah,
So,
ang bilis, ano?
but yun nga,
Malapit na rin yun, girl.
malapit na rin nga, di ba? So,
Yeah.
2 years, Yana. That's pretty much your ultimate goal for now. Why does it take so long, or 2 years to be exact, for you to prepare for such an event?
Well, for me kasi, being in sports, a lot of factors should be considered kasi of course being an athlete, that's not our whole life din naman. We have other things to do being normal people. And for me, developing in terms of strength and everything, it really takes time. It takes, baka nga kulang pa yung 2 years but hopefully in 2024 I will get there. But luckily, all the people that I've talked to regarding my next steps, which is yung 2024 Paris Olympics, they're really on board with that. Although with what although with the changes that happen, it's very weird nga naman talaga kasi naging super duo kami ng father ko, but yun, things happen, but I have to keep myself in a positive light to be moving pa din and not be down by a lot of factors. So luckily, so I'm still really blessed that things are still on the go and that right now I'm absolutely more driven to really get into the Olympics. And just want to say talaga to thank you to everyone talaga for being on board with my journey.
Yeah. Yana, kanina you mentioned that you have to rake up points, no? So for viewers who aren't familiar, what is the process like when you want to qualify for the Olympics? And I know it's different for every sport.
Yeah. Actually, for cycling, you just have to gather this thing called UCI points. UCI kasi it's let's say the cycling body talaga for the whole country, for everything. And you have to accumulate a certain number of points. Actually, hindi naman siya mataas. Parang minimum lang is 250. But with cycling, there are limited slots lang na pwede mag-participate for it. Let's say top 35 or 30 riders lang. So you have to be like the best 30 in the world in terms of points para may sure kang slot sa Olympics. But there are also other things na pwede ka makapag-qualify. It's the Asian Continental Cycling Championships, the Mountain Bike Asian Continental Cycling Championships. It's gonna be held on 2023 or maybe 2024 mismo. So if you win gold there, you're guaranteed a slot. So, there are so many things na pwedeng gawa ng paraan, but hopefully talaga, I need to gather a lot of yung points talaga eh. So, I talked to our NSA, and by next year, we hope na they will approve the budget na makapag-train ako abroad or go to a country na may frequent races siya para I can gather a lot of points. So, ganun yung ways to qualify for the Olympics for cycling.
No, that's so exciting. And then yeah, you mentioned it's so important to be in a place that allows you to do that, no?
Oh, yeah.
What countries are you eyeing that could potentially help you get there?
My partner in cross country, si Kuya Nino Sorban, he mentioned that in Turkey, there are races, like frequent races, na I can gather a lot of points. So maybe doon ako maging base for a couple of months, or maybe at least a month, I guess. Kaya really looking forward to it. And I hope things will get aligned.
Sasamahan ka ba ng ng special person mo? We both know who that special person is, si Andre.
Ayoko. Ayoko. Ayoko.
Baka hindi naging sightseeing, girl. Baka
Andre,
sightseeing na lang tayo.
si Bas, ayan, medyo may bad news ka na this early, Andrea.
Joke,
Alam
syempre
mo,
busy na rin siya. And yun nga, I know na he's going to be supportive naman in everything I do. And malay mo, he could be able to visit me there when his time permits. Yun.
papasama ako sa kanya. And actually, si Andre kasi, her boyfriend, is actually a good friend of ours. And he also races. He's one of my competitors also. So,
May racing scene ba sa Sa Turkey?
of course. They're holding a Formula 1 race there this year.
There's a track.
Kaya pala. Kaya pala.
Kaya siya intrigued.
Kaya pala.
Di ba? Saktong-sakto.
Yun talaga yung pupuntahan nyo, hindi ako. Ano ba?
Pero may official business kuno, di ba? Oh. Parang natural lang
Okay. Sige na nga. Okay.
But yun, you mentioned a while ago, Yana, preparation. Rigorous preparation. What kind of preparation are we really talking about aside from more seat time or riding time, so to speak?
Actually, ngayon, no, that I have changed coaches and that I can focus on myself more and manage my time better. Talagang, it's more of the mental well-being that's important kasi that's where all the ideas, the foundation starts. And ngayon, with my training buddies, with my training partners, it's also something na I open up to them na right now, na I tell them na they are also my responsibility kasi they are my training partners and na mas magiging priority ko yung mental and emotional state naming lahat. Kasi it's the biggest factor actually that people tend to take for granted. And as much as possible, we try to keep the environment fun, keep it very chill in a way. Well, it's not really chill, pero yun nga, the main word talaga is keeping it fun, na it doesn't feel like work. And surprisingly, we've been seeing a lot of improvements compared to before. Kasi nga a lot of time management talaga or just really focusing on what's needed and walang nasasayang. And I guess things have been aligning based on what I really want. And I'm really lucky and blessed na things have been happening and a lot of people are on board with it. So, yun.
No, and you're so right, Yana. The mental health is such a big part of any training, no? And then it's so nice to hear
Yeah.
that athletes are really taking it seriously, like Carlos Yulo, for instance, really taking on a psychiatrist as part of his coaching team, diba? And it's so
Yes.
important for people to recognize that this is a like part and parcel of
Mm.
what we need as athletes. Um,
Yes.
for your sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Well, it's something kasi na people aren't not that open to talk about because they think na it's a small topic and a lot of people are not that comfortable opening up with how they feel because sometimes they don't know how to express it. And good thing that there are professionals also who could bring out the most out of people in terms of like their thoughts, the things they want to say. But luckily then for me, I was able to learn it somehow. Well, I had to go through so much to be able to get to where I am in terms of mental maturity and emotional maturity. And it's something na I also want to be vocal about kasi I know it's not an easy thing. And I'd like to really share it to a lot of people, especially to those who are close to me.
Yeah. No, and I love that so much, like for you being an advocate not only of sports but also mental health. And I can
Yes.
imagine the pressure like when you're actually on the road, diba? It's just you alone with your thoughts for
Yeah,
hours when
exactly.
you're riding.
You're correct. Correct, correct.
And I
Yeah.
think
No,
even
incredible.
for on a competition point of view, assuming all of you and your competitors are pretty much on the same physical level of fitness,
Condition, yes. Mm-mm.
conditioning at that. Minsan in any sport, it all boils down to psychological that psychological
Yes.
factor, di ba?
Mm-mm. That's correct. It's how much do you want to be the better version of yourself? Because sometimes people think negatively even before the event started. So they're kind of conditioning their brain that the results are going to be like this, even though it hasn't happened yet. So in nga, marginal gains, small details, it's kumbaga breeding a champion talaga. It does not take parang it's not an overnight thing. Kumbaga, mental health also, tinitraining din yan. Eh. That's what I tell people. Kumbaga, for athletes, they do physical training. For mental, training din talaga yan. Kasi it's something that you have to get used to in a way na dumating na siya sa point na it seems it's very natural. Ganun siya. And sports, luckily, it can teach you that.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree talaga yan. And I'm sure Dana does too. It's something that's pretty much been overlooked a lot of times. Minsan kasi, kailangan fit ka. Kailangan tumatagal resistensya mo. Yun lang.
Yeah.
Pero,
Yeah.
Almost there. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. No, but I think
lalo,
that our generation now is much more open to these kinds of conversations,
yeah.
which is very exciting.
Yeah.
So, yun, moving forward, Yana, um, aside from your plans to train abroad or to prepare abroad, I think we've also seen some of your posts on social media of you taking part in certain local races. Um, how have you been so far? The competitions you've joined, and what's the objective behind participating in them as well?
Actually, kasi with the pandemic, racing for cycling, has been so down na very few lang meron. And for me naman to be joining local races, it's a matter of seeing familiar faces also. Like, I've missed a lot of people. My competitors also were friends naman, so I love seeing them again. And the feeling na of being able to race, it's sobrang nakakamiss siya. And of course, I also have like a responsibility to represent my brands, the brands that I carry also. That's why I also join. And luckily, or I'm happy na slowly, slowly racing here sa cycling in the Philippines is getting back. And especially for next year, no, for the 2022 SEA Games. It's gonna be on May. So I need to actually have a lot of local races na para to get me up there in terms of fitness. And hopefully talaga more organizers will, make events happen.
Feeling ko yan na sabi mo, 'di ba, these local races give you opportunity to see old faces, new friends, since you've missed a lot of them. Pero feeling ko sa mga iba, oh my God, ayun na si Ana, patay tayo.
Baliw! I hope I don't give. Actually, no, that's something that I want people to change. Kasi, I don't know, maybe because before I had given that impression, maybe because of my previous coach, but I'm not sure about that. But right now, I try to be more like trying to go to people, talk to them, ganyan. Kasi I love being with them. And then, to those people I know ha. Kasi I sometimes I get anxious meeting new people. Eh. Pero it's something na I try to go out of my comfort zone. And that's fine. Pero yun nga na they should actually change their mindset with that. They should feel more inspired to really go out of their comfort zone in terms of, let's say, training, ganyan. Kasi for the journey to the Olympics, it takes more than one athlete talaga para mas mapadali yung pag-qualify. Kasi there's actually something pa pala called nations ranking. And yun nga, yun ang nauuna. before they choose the athletes talaga. So, kunyari, mas maraming Filipinas that are competing abroad earning UCI points and na-accumulate lahat ng points namin and it increases our nation's ranking. There's more chance na a few athletes from the Philippines will be qualified. So far kasi for the Philippines, ako lang talaga yung may goal pa lang to really want to get in the Olympics. But hopefully, I pray na more will be on board with this journey. Tulungan talaga
Yeah.
siya.
Yeah. As with most sports, now, and it's nice that you mentioned that because cycling seems like such an individual sport, but really it
Yeah.
takes a village.
Yes,
And on that,
exactly.
yeah, and on that, Yana, it's really nice to see more and more people, young and old, no, want to like hit the road and bike. And I think this pandemic has been so difficult for many people, but that's kind of one of the nicer things to come out of it, di ba? Na para lahat ng tao, uy, may bike na, uy, tara bike tayo, uy, takbo
Oo.
tayo sa labas. Um, you've been doing this for years. Do you have any tips for people who are new, like either on road or off road biking?
Surprisingly talaga, I've seen the growth ng number of cyclists here in the Philippines because I've been biking for 13 years now, and it's a really big difference from before to present time. And yun nga, sadly then, a lot of people are not knowledgeable about what to do or they don't know the steps when it comes to cycling nga naman kasi no one's teaching them. And for me naman din, I love biking and I want them or I want the community to grow, 'di ba? So I'm kind of an advocate of really just having fun, finding a group of people that you'd love to be with riding. And of course, sa mga newbies naman dyan, you also have to invest in the proper bike, the proper gears para lagi kayong safe. Yun nga, ay kasama ako sa Cadiz Road Bikers Advocacy na always wear your helmet, no helmet, no ride. And that's really important kasi I've had so many shares of crashes na and I almost died,
Medyo normal
and
siya, girl, no? Sa mga serious bikers.
yes, oo. Especially for mountain biking kasi trails, yung terrain namin talaga it's prone for that. But with the proper protective gears, helmet, the most, talagang kailangan yan. And what else? Yung mga gloves, always wearing shoes, wearing the proper attire, keeping yourself hydrated. Those small things could also help save lives, 'di ba? And I'm not sure if people are aware of those small things. Kaya it's also, I feel like I'm also responsible to really post on social media about the tips, ganyan. Kasi I want the community to grow and I want them to last. Kasi it's not enough na they buy a bike and then they try the bike and then baka mamaya something happened and di na nila
Natatakot na
na-enjoy.
sila. Oo.
Oo. I want them naman to last just as much as I lasted. Sa biking. So, di ba, I've been biking for 13 years and every time I ride on my bike, really feel like parang kahapon lang ako nag-ride. And that's something na I want people to experience kasi cycling nga naman talaga, it really changes lives. It's a lifestyle. Tawag dito, yung mga sickness, ganyan. Actually, sa pandemic, cycling can cure a lot of your mental problems, emotional problems kasi it gives you a sense of freedom, a sense na
Yeah.
para kang you can go to places ganyan na you don't feel na nako-confine ka in one area and you're
Yeah.
meeting a lot of people. So it's a continuous adventure and I love for more people to experience that talaga.
You
Yeah.
mentioned lifestyle, Yana, and speaking of lifestyle, and as we've mentioned a while ago, more and more cyclists are sharing the roads nowadays. We've seen more infrastructure for cyclists on
Yeah.
even on EDSA C5 and whatnot, diba? From you, mismo, Yana, aside from making sure you're all safe, you're suited up, you're geared properly. When it comes to sharing the road with vehicles or cars or other forms of transportation, what would you say is the proper etiquette, or what is something that you would want to keep in mind as a cyclist for you to actually reach your destination safely and in one piece?
And in one piece. Actually, it's about awareness talaga. Awareness is such a big word Kasi it can sakop niya yung about awareness sa buhay. And of course, awareness on the road. Kasi if you feel that you have the responsibility to, alam mo yun, help each other, ganyan. If sa kalsada pa naman, it's all about parang bigayan, ganun. Talagang really have to be selfless. Kasi I'm a driver and I'm also a cyclist. And the big problem I've seen on the road talaga is mga tao na hindi nagbibigayan. Yun. Kumbaga, it's pataasan ng pride and ng ego na, ako mauuna. And that's something
Kahit
na
sa
people's,
kotse.
Hindi ba
di
ganon?
ba? Sorry?
Hindi ba ganon?
Pero I have my fair moments din, depending na rin talaga sa mood or if nagmamadali ka kanyan. But still, yung mga ganong bagay about being selfless awareness, tinitraining din yan. As in, I swear, you have to get used to it and you also have to tell yourself na sometimes, PC, a biker, give space, pagbigyan. Kumbaga, kailangan mo rin isipin yung situation ng ibang tao. Kasi kunyari, for a cyclist, naiinitan yan. Hindi mahirap mag-bike. Kumbaga, the cars kasi they have engines. Tatapak ka lang sa gas and you're good to go. But for biking, you have to put or exert effort for your body. Pero kasi I can't blame some motorists also na parang nagkaka-issue with cyclists. Kasi some other cyclists feel very entitled dahil cyclists sila. And na dapat pagbigyan nyo kami. Which nga talaga, may give and take talaga yan. 'Di ba? So, hopefully talaga in the future, or let's say the government could help us spread awareness on how to ride on the road for motorists and cyclists. Kasi we cannot deny na cyclists, ang dami na niyan on the road. And they do take up a big space na sa kalsada. And we do need to share the road na talaga with cyclists as well. And the government has the power talaga to really implement stuff. And I hope na in the future they could show or give seminars, ganyan, on how to ride properly on the road. Or kung hindi man ang government, let's say companies who would love for their employees to also ang tawag dito bike to work para sa well-being din ng employees nila, 'di ba? Para they could also get fitness, ganyan ganyan for their mental health. And that's also something they could implement. For employees naman, some of them drive, some of them could bike to work kung malapit lang sa kanila. So, talagang it's a matter of ano lang talaga teaching people. Ganun.
Yeah. And yeah, in the absence of anything run by the government today, are there organizations that can help companies do this, or that new bikers can join?
Actually, ngayon wala akong awareness about companies. Pero I actually am signing up with PNB or Alliance. Parang yun yung ano nila advocacy about sa biking. But hopefully more companies like that could gag.
Yeah.
Kasi they parang hired me to be one of the speakers, yung nga of the share the road thing. So what if more organizations would hire other people naman who are knowledgeable how to share the road? That would be really great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and super exciting, especially because you hear more and more plans from companies na kapag nagde-develop sila ng mga bagong estate, right? Mga
Oh
Alamo
yeah.
Valley, Clark New City, and a lot of it is mixed,
Mm-mm.
diba, the road. So it becomes
Mm-mm.
all the more important that people are
Yes.
aware of these things.
And these real estate companies, they like encourage na yung lugar nila is magkaroon ng mga cyclists kasi it's very and it goes together. Cycling and then having, let's say, yung sa Novali nga, sobrang ang daming cyclists doon and they kind of encourage na cyclists could go there, na it's a safe space to bike in. So, in the near future talaga, sobrang dami na talagang magbabike.
Yeah, no, super, super nice, Yana, and exciting for you. I think exciting for you because you're so much ahead of you, and exciting for
Thank
you
you.
because your community is getting bigger and bigger, no? And parang that brings so much energy, I think, to the
Yeah.
angry
Mm.
part, diba? Parang, alam mo yun, like, people to cheer you on, people to ride with you makes such a big difference. Um,
Yes,
just before
absolutely.
we wrap up the show, I have a fun question for you, Yana.
Oh my God, yun yung mga
Hindi ba siya super fun? Medyo safe pa to. Si Milo yung Bali, tunay na funny question
Medyo
after.
intriguing yung sa akin palagi. Palaging
Sa akin safe pa. But mountain biking is one of those lucky sports, right? Where you're not on a fixed track. You're not in a gym. What are some of the most beautiful places that you've been to, whether it's in the Philippines or yeah,
Oh,
anywhere else?
ito marami akong share. Well,
Baka hindi na
honestly,
tayo matapos.
yung di naman, yung two of the places talaga na sobrang na-awe ako in terms of the scenery is Japan and Dubai. Kasi in Japan, may yearly akong ina-attend na race dun. It's in Yawatahama, Ehime, ganyan. And being able to see the cycling community there and how the trail looks like. Well, the weather kasi talagang maganda, as in, sarap mag-bike doon the whole day kasi medyo chilly. Sobrang nakakatuwa. And saan pa ba yung isa? The other one naman is in Dubai. Dubai kasi, di ba nga, desert, ganyan-ganyan. And then when I went there, because I was invited to race, nagulat talaga ako na sobrang ganda nung place and the trails na ginawa nila doon. And honestly, the biking community, Filipino biking community in Dubai is really big. Sobrang na-welcome ako doon na parang hindi ako na homesick kasi sobrang daming Pinoy. And my experiences with sa events na napuntahan ko in Japan and Dubai is something I will always cherish. And hopefully talaga more Filipinos could experience what I did. Kaya I'm really an advocate of sa youth, ganyan, to pursue your dreams at such a young age. And hopefully mga parents maging on board sa what their child really wants kasi they're the future.
I guess at this point, Yana, we could only hope for the best, not just for you, but also for the Philippine cycling community, or at least yung nagtitrail and like you
Yes.
aspire to represent the country in pretty much anything and everything they could participate in. So, with that,
Mm.
Yana, thank you so much. If there's anything you'd want to share or to tell all of us here on Manila Standard on the Road to inspire, um, to give hope, or to remind that, and as well as to thank, here's your opportunity to do so.
First of all, of course, thank you to Manila Standard for inviting me once again. And gusto ko lang batiin yung mga friends ko. Hi! I'm here. I'm here. Parang ewan. Oh my God. Joke lang. Yan,
Sounds
sina
like
Clyde,
parang
sina
ganon.
CJ. Thank you guys for being here for me. And of course, sa mga sponsors ko talaga, sobrang grateful ako for you guys. And yun nga, really looking forward to how big our cycling community would grow. And of course, looking forward then to seeing na mas maging maayos yung tawag dito, yung sharing on the road talaga. So, yun. See you guys on the road. Ano naman?
Saktong-sakto plug mo dun, ah. Galing. Gusto
Ay,
ko
we?
ikaw naman mo, Yana.
Ikaw na
Wag na. Ayoko! Lumabas lang yun out of nowhere. Oh my God.
Galing. Pero yun, saktong-sakto yun.
Ay, we!
Ay, nako, Ariana Dormitorio, thank you so much for joining us once again. And as early as,
Arigatou gozaimasu!
now, we're wishing you all the best. Hope you make it to the Olympics and win anything and everything that comes in between. So,
Thank
and
you.
maraming salamat. And thank you as well, Dana, for joining
Thanks,
us.
Mila, for having me. And thanks, Yana, for making this such a fun show.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of Manila Standard on the Road has just ended, but the interaction does not end there. Always like, comment, and share anything Manila Standard on the Road or Manila Standard at that. And always use the hashtag MS on the Road. Another episode has ended, but we will definitely see you again next week. So, from all of us here in Manila Standard on the Road at that, this is Marlon Rivera saying good night and always, always, always be safe on the road.